And welcome back to the Sideline Chat podcast, the one-stop shop for rugby league. Now the focus today, it's the Betfred Super League Week 10 debrief. Now because there is a mountain of Super League content to get through today, there will be no championship spotlight. Now with that out of the way, let's begin. And with the first game of round 10, the Casper Tigers up against St. Helens. Needs repeating, I'll slap you like Will Smith.
Sorry, I'm going back the last 2 weeks. My bad, that's why I can't find them. This one, who knows? I think it's going to be more in the Saints' favour based on recent results. Although Castleford did go alright against Wakefield when they had a victory and also narrowly beating Leeds in the rivals round.
Well, I would say both Saints and Castleford had a perfect Easter program. Of course, the Tigers downing Wakefield Trinity 34 points to 4 before backing it up again on Easter Monday, narrowly getting away from the Leeds Rhinos 16 points to 13. Look, that game against Wakefield, that was an absolute demolition job.
It certainly was. Wakefield were absolutely nowhere. They didn't even turn up. And to make things matters worse, Wakefield's dummy half fell asleep.
Oh, that was the most embarrassing moment. Liam Hood asleep at the wheel, and then Paul McShane was like, "Oh, hello, no dummy half here. I'm just going to pick up and score."
Yeah.
That was literally what just happened there.
Yeah. You don't see that happen very often at all, but that just summed up Wakefield's night.
That's Gareth Woodard at Brookvale about 5 years ago, catching the Manly dummy half for sleep, and he gets the try.
Yeah.
That was not good enough. That was simply not good enough.
No. And especially for Wakefield, who have gone so well over the last 3 odd weeks, and to go like that, did they go a bit too hard over the last few weeks? I just don't know.
Kenny Edwards was an absolute monster for the Tigers. 1 try, 103 running meters, 9 tackle breaks, 1 offload in that game. And then the captain, Paul McShane, 71 running meters, 2 try assists, 1 tackle break, and 47 tackles. But that try for Daryl Oldfitz. How good was that kick from Paul McShane out of dummy half?
Oh, it was a magnificent kick. It was pinpoint accurate. You see that a lot. A lot of kickers are now really pinpoint accurate. Yes, they have to be nowadays, but some of them are still a bit wonky. But McShane was an accurate kick.
The kick and chase, absolutely good. They were lucky to get away from the Leeds Rhinos in that game because Reece Martin basically kept them in the game, both at half-time and with 3 minutes to go.
He certainly did, yeah. I think he got Leeds 14 points just to himself.
All of the points, yeah. He literally kept the Rhinos in the game, and I think they were
single-handedly
very unfortunate not to come away with a win on Easter Monday. Saints, meanwhile, another perfect Easter program and for them, but not without trouble. First downing the Wigan Warriors 22 points to 4, and then beating off a brave Huddersfield side 24 points to 12.
Yeah, St. Helens just continued on where they left off, pretty much, you could say. Well, continued on, I should say. The Wigan match, I thought, was a little bit disappointing. It could have been a lot tighter contest, but Saints on the day were just that bit better.
That bit better? They hold them in 1 try.
Okay.
If you're talking about Wigan, they held them in 1 try. If you're talking about the Huddersfield game, they were up for it.
I'm talking about the Wigan game.
Yeah, Wigan were out of it. But that was probably the best game so far this year between 2 of the top sides.
Yeah, I have to say that.
We talk about the argument about which is the bigger derby. Is it the whole derby or is it the Saints-Wigan derby? After watching both games on Good Friday, I'm siding with the Saints-Wigan derby.
Yeah, I have to say the same, but it helps if both teams are informed too.
That game was just fast and furious. End-to-end stuff, and that's what we love to see, that end-to-end battle.
That's what everyone wants to see, end-to-end. But yeah, Saints-Wigan is a bit based on that, and against the whole derby, the Saints-Wigan derby was the best one. But it helps too with 2 teams in form, makes it a better derby compared to if you have one team that's in better form than the other, it's not as good. So form does make a difference in derbies.
Oh, it's certainly does. And the Saints were well up for this. I mean, defensively, they were very set and only holding Wigan to a try, with the likes of Jai Field and Bevan French in the back five.
Yeah, that worked out well, didn't it? I mean, French setting up a try for Jai Field, 2 speedsters in the Wigan side.
But that was about it, because after that, Wigan did not have that same rubber the green they had.
No.
They were shut out defensively by St. Helens. Tommy Makinson once again standing up where it matters most. One try assist, 236 running meters, 12 tackle breaks, 1 offload, and 3 from 6 goals converted.
Yet again, he just proves why he's such a good
He is the
player.
best winger in England.
Yeah.
And
At the moment, yeah.
I would dare say amongst one of the best wingers in the world.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with you. I mean, there are other brilliant winners out there, but currently he's one of the best. I have to agree.
Remember, Newcastle were trying to chase his signature to try and bring him over to the NRL because Nathan Brown knew what he could get out of Tommy Makinson. During his 1-year stint with St. Helens as coach in 2014, and even after winning the Golden Boot in 2018, he knew what Tommy Makinson brings.
He certainly did.
But I think at the end of the day, the right decision was made for him to stay at St. Helens, and he's reaped the benefits of another 3 grand final rings to his name.
But would it, like other previous Super League players coming out to Australia, they haven't really, besides, there's been a few exceptions, but there's a few that haven't gone as well.
Backs are the only exception when it comes to Englishmen. Sam Tompkins didn't play well, but he was playing at the New Zealand Warriors, so you could forgive him for that. Same with Dan Sargentson. He was at Gold Coast. And that really happened to Joe Greenwood too, playing at Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Ryan
Ryan Hall was a bit quiet for the
Ryan
Roosters.
Hall, I feel like he was underused at the Roosters, to be quite fair, and he was coming off an ACL reconstruction.
Yeah, that didn't help too. He could have had a lot of potential there with the Roosters.
Joe Burgess, well, a poor Roosters side, and then same story at the Rabbitohs, though he got an opportunity. Same story with Zach Hardacre, trying to break into the Panthers, and of course had an absolute blinder with Castleford the year later. But so far, Dominic Young's probably the best example of an English back coming out here and succeeding. Oliver Gildart, I feel sorry for, or even though he was trying to make something happen.
Yeah.
But Dominic Young, bloody hell, how good. But we're getting off topic here, discussing the myth around British backs, so to speak. What more can I say about Saints in that Good Friday derby? Then the blow against Huddersfield. Despite winning the game, they've lost Lewis Dodd to an ACL.
That is a massive injury for St. Helens. He has been on brilliant form this year, Lewis Dodd. They're going to miss him.
They will miss him. Johnny Lomax stepping up in this game. One try assist, 111 running meters, 2 tackle breaks. It's very lucky because Huddersfield were competitive in this game.
For the whole lot or just for the first?
Competitive until the back end.
Yeah. They were giving it to Saints, but then Saints, yet again, too good.
That Jonathan Bennison try, I think Bennison scored in the Easter Monday fixture against the Giants, and it was just untouched, wasn't he?
Yeah, untouched.
Just, wow. I think that was a Lomax try assist for that, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Now, getting back to this game, this is going to be interesting. Christian Wolff has chosen to rest the majority of his first team side with the possibility of 9 debutants named.
Yeah, very interesting there from Christian Wolff, but I can see why he's done it though. With 2 games in quick succession, and then this other one, giving his star players a bit of a rest up.
Well, I think he's also got one eye on the Cup semi-final in a couple of weeks against Wigan as well.
That's true.
Also, if he can lighten their work, I think all the better at a forum. Lee Radford, meanwhile, only 3 changes. No Niall Evalds through injury. Greg Eaton has been returned to name, and George Lawler back from a 3-game suspension. Whilst of course, Curtis Sheeran and Conrad Harrell now picking up their 2-match bans, respectively, after they were allowed to play Easter Monday.
That's a bit silly. Wouldn't it be better to miss Easter Monday clash and this one, and then come back the following week?
Yeah,
I suppose
that's just the way the RFL.
I suppose with the short turnarounds as well, I can see why.
Looking at the two sides, I think St. Helens would have been an easy bet for this game. But now actually seeing the sides and the squads named, with 9 debutants, where the only first teamers regular left, Wellesby, Lussick, McCarthy, Scarsbrook, Carl Amor, Josh Sim, who's been in and out of the side over the years, and Jonathan Bennison, who's gotten started on the left flank with no Regan Grace.
This could actually be a lot closer than what people think, like you just mentioned.
I definitely think that is the case. I'm expecting St. Helens to be competitive in this game, but I feel like they've had to do this, and there have been complaints raised by the players about the Easter schedule, and we'll touch more on that shortly. But I think this is a brilliant opportunity for the Castleford Tigers right here. I think, while they've only made 3 changes to their first team side, I think they're looking for a big scalp here.
They're more, more stable heading into this match than what St. Helens are.
Yeah, I think they're going to be in for a reasonable win. I think Castleford win this 7 points to 12.
I agree. This could be St. Helens' first loss of the season.
Second,
sorry.
we already covered their first loss of the season, and that was the great upset caused by Toulouse. And speaking of Toulouse, it is the perfect segue as the men from southwestern France travel to the Headingley Stadium to face the Leeds Rhinos.
Yes. What's going to happen with this match? I mean, Leeds have been poor all season. Toulouse are a little bit inconsistent, but they have been on a consistent run of
before we say anything more about that game, we've got to go back to their performance over the Easter weekend. Of course, we already covered Leeds' 16-14 loss to Castleford, but they also had a 20-all draw with the Huddersfield Giants.
Yeah, when's the last time we saw a draw in Super League?
Never. Well, I don't say never. Before the 2019 rule changes, we had draws. But then Golden Point extra time was introduced. But this game...
It even went in that, and there's still nothing.
That was probably the most surprising thing, that despite Huddersfield having drop goal specialists like Theo Fars, for instance, or even Tui Lola here with sideline conversions,
yes,
they just couldn't ice them.
They couldn't. And I have to say, that's one of Leeds' best games so far this season. Or the first time in a long time.
They were up for this game against the Giants, and I think they were in a commanding position heading into it, for a large portion of it, but then the Giants just rallied and forced the game to extra time where a draw has resulted.
Yeah, so you could say both teams deserved the win then.
Well, I have picked 2 standouts from both sides because this is the condition with a draw. You have to pick one. We pick one player if they win, but a draw, no choice, but we've had to pick 2 players that will stand up for their sides. Reece Martin, of course, 2 try heroics in defeat to Castleford. Once again with the heroics for the Leeds Rhinos. 1 try, 139 running meters, 7 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, and 4 from 5 goals converted. Whereas for the Giants, it was Tui Lola here, 87 run meters, 2 try assists, 8 tackle breaks, but probably the stat which let them down where they mattered most, 2 from 5 goals converted.
See, that's where Huddersfield could have won that game.
Oh, they could have. They definitely could have, but some of those kicks weren't easy, to be fair.
They weren't, but, I mean, you do have good days, you have bad days, so it wasn't quite a good day for Lola here right there.
Now, contrast that with Toulouse, the French derby that was played for the very first time, going down 18-10 to the Catalan Dragons, before almost pulling off their second win of the season, and going down to Hull KR 28 points to 24.
The French derby was actually a really, really good match. Only 8 points in it. So Toulouse did put up a decent fight, and then also against Hull KR just narrowly lost.
They were in a commanding position against Hull KR early. I think they were actually up 18-4 at one stage before all the Robins rallied.
Yeah, Toulouse were well in front against Hull KR. I thought, oh, here we go. Second win on the board. But they just come up short, unfortunately.
Just short.
But they are showing signs.
We say this week in, week out.
I know.
I think the last couple of weeks, Toulouse have been trying to be very competitive, and they have had some very tough opposition to go up against, of course, blown off the park against Warrington, competitive game and a loss to Wigan. They beat the champions, and then they face that, trying to really make a derby which has significant history behind it with the Catalan Dragons.
Yeah. But the French derby, I was looking forward to the match and it delivered.
I think it was a great reward that the fact that we had two French teams playing against each other.
Yeah. And ahead of the Rugby League World Cup in 2025? Five.
That's when France will play host.
So hopefully between now and then, these derbies get better and better and more high-scoring games between these two sides.
If Toulouse can stay in Super League,
Well,
that is pretty much true. The big contingent thing. Look, they weren't going anywhere in the first half, and the Matty Russell try really, he turned things on its head at 14 points to 6. Adding to that, making it very tough. It's at 14 points to 10. But just, even with a 12-man Catalan side, Toulouse just couldn't get over the top of them.
No, they couldn't, which was a bit disappointing to see, but they did their absolute best they could against Catalans, who is a top side.
Oh, they truly are. And Josh Drinkwater, he was a standout for the Catalan Dragons, with really the world held on their shoulders with all the injuries they've been suffering. 12 run meters, 3 try assists, 1 from 4 goals converted. That what would have kept Toulouse in the game if they could try and break it down, but just errors at the wrong time for the Olympique.
Yeah,
that's cost them. They were throwing everything at them, but they just couldn't break down the Catalan defence.
They couldn't. It shows that Catalans are a good defensive team as well, but like you said, errors cost them.
Yeah, they certainly did. And Ryan Hall, I will touch more on Ryan Hall with Hull KR. But getting back onto this game, there's been some interesting developments within the last 24 hours. Of course, Leeds without James Bentley or Zane Tedeba, due to suspension, but Matt Pryor, Cameron Smith and Liam Tyndall are all back in the side, while bad news for Toulouse with no Guy Armitage or Dominic Peyroux that had been regulars. But the good news, Mathieu Jussoum is back, the man with the best moustache in the Betfred Super League.
That's good. Good news for Toulouse Olympique. He might hopefully get them over the line.
But it doesn't stop there.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. For Leeds, they have announced the new head coach in the form of North's Devils coach Rohan Smith, effective immediately on a 3.5-year deal. And then the biggest surprising headline, the announcement Toulouse have signed Corey Norman.
Yeah, for the remainder of the 2022 season, coming out of so-called retirement.
I was surprised when I first heard this because I previously criticised the rumours linking Norman both to Catalan and to the Wigan Warriors.
Yeah.
As it's like, what value is there in them signing Corey Norman when they already had dominant halves there?
Well, Catalans went on to sign Pearce.
Yeah, and he's
who's
really
better than Norman.
He's been getting better, Mitchell Pearce, I will say that.
Corey Norman, he's done not much.
But what could he do for Toulouse here? Because they mentioned, Sylvain Houldet and the CEO of Toulouse both say he can cover 2 positions that we desperately need covered.
Fullback.
Standoff and fullback.
Yes.
So this now really raises an interesting question. Now that they've got a genuine half at the club after losing Jonathan Ford and Mark Carella, both now at the Featherstone Rovers, what do they do with Tony Gigot?
Keep him in the side.
Yeah, but he's the captain. Where do they factor him in? Because you got, I would imagine Norman and Lucas Albert are the halves for Toulouse. Ollie Ashelbot is playing fullback. And then you got Mathieu Jussoum coming in, and he'll be in the centres with Chris Hankinson. Do you shift Gigot out to the wing? Do you, dare I say it, do you try and play him at loose forward? Or for some ball play?
Or offer utility off the bench?
That's the question.
To add that extra spark late in the game.
That is the question that needs to be asked. Where do you put Tony Gigot now that you've got Corey Norman coming?
Well, I don't know if Corey Norman would be playing in this match straight up.
He isn't. He hasn't been named. But I suspect within 2 weeks he will be playing.
I would ease Corey. I would start Gijo to start off with when Norman.
So you would go with Tony Gigo in the halves for the time being, and then when Corey Norman's...
and then let Corey Norman ease into it, and then we have to see what happens on there. That's what I reckon will happen. But Norman brings in a wealth of experience.
And if he can provide something that helps Toulouse get wins, he could be the turning point Toulouse needed.
He could be.
He could... Imagine at the end of the year and Toulouse are at least 10th on the table with one round to go, and they're at least 4 points clear of the relegation zone.
Yeah, that would be a wonderful
If he
story.
does that, that could be the greatest achievement of his career right there. He saved Toulouse Olympique from relegation.
Or even better, he could push him up the third on the ladder, like where I had him finishing.
Yeah, you're still dreaming. Now, getting back onto this game, look, Leeds have had... After that big win against Wakefield, I thought they'd turned a corner, but then Hull's had other ideas, and since then they have just been in a death spiral. I will say, Leeds and Toulouse have been probably amongst two of the worst performing teams, but Leeds were expected to perform, whilst Toulouse...
Now to cut some slack because it's their first year in Super League.
Yes.
I know where I'm heading towards.
Both been competitive, but I just... Leeds have been disappointing, as I've said.
They've been the biggest disappointment this season.
And, of course, it doesn't bode well for rookie scrum half Jack Sinfield, who made his debut on Easter Monday against Castleford. How would you rate his performance?
Also, there's still a bit to go in his debut performance, but he's still learning, so it was not too bad, but, still improvement to be made.
I would probably think for him it would have been a bit of a solid debut. 87 run meters, 1 try assist, 1 tackle break, and I think he forced the goal line dropout as well. Or that might have been the try that was scored by Reece Martin after Jake Marmo misfield that beautifully depth grubber to the in goal.
Yeah, Marmo did misfield that, so yeah.
But that was a nice try set up by Sinfield right there. And that weight of expectation, considering he carries the name Sinfield.
I was going to say, is there a relation?
Kevin Sinfield's son.
Yeah, I thought there might have been a relation there.
I think Toulouse would be bitterly disappointed, but I think at this point, Leeds are practically close to their level at the moment. They have not been playing well. I think this could really... I'm going to dare say it. I'm going to back Toulouse for the win here, 1-6. I think.
Yeah.
I think Albert's got the wood over Jack Sinfield, Jack Sinfield, I should say, with runs on the board. And I think the way they've been playing, I think they can trouble the Leeds Rhinos greatly.
Oh, Toulouse, a narrow 4-point loss against Hull KR and an 8-point loss against Catland. So there have been a few tight matches over the Easter weekend. So I'm going to go Toulouse 7-12.
Yeah, I think this could be the moment Toulouse get off the bottom of the table, though it does come at the expense of the Leeds Rhinos. Now, moving on, we've got the Warrington Wolves up against the Huddersfield Giants. Of course, we already covered how Huddersfield have done on an Easter program. Now, Warrington, bit of a mixed results, but competitive to say nonetheless. First with a dominant 32 points to 18 win over Salford, before a narrow late-minute loss to Hull FC, going down 18 points to 16.
Yeah, so they performed really good against Salford, but Salford were just typical Salford. But
Warrington played the power game early, and it worked for them.
Yeah. I don't know if they did the same against Hull FC, but just came up short, but...
Well, they got dragged into a more competitive match against Hull for sure, but the beautiful ball movement to the likes of Toby King, who was a stand-up for Warrington, 3
against
tries, 136 running meters, 2 tackle breaks, 1 offload, and then, of course, that beautiful floating pass from Gareth Widdop to set up Matty Ashton, which at that point could have been the game-winning try for the Wolves, before a late try from Manu Ma'u and conversion from Luke Gale, stand up for the black and whites here, 74 run meters, 1 try assist, 2 tackle breaks, and most importantly, 3 from 3 goals converted to give Hull FC their win on Easter Monday.
Yeah, so it really comes down to the last conversion from
Play
Luke
in
Gale.
the final 3 minutes.
Yeah, and if Luke Gale missed that conversion,
Golden point extra time.
possibly. But no, Luke Gale stepped up to the occasion and slotted it over from a tough kick. Or tough conversion, you could say.
Of course, they let Darryl Clark out early from dummy half, which you never do because Clark likes to run. And then they pressured, and the pressure they applied to Darnell McIntosh that led to, I think it was it Toby King scoring on this occasion?
In which match? Salford?
Easter Monday.
The Hull SC match?
Oh no, that led to Matty Ashton's first try. Both the tries set up for Matty Ashton, Toby King providing the try assist on that occasion, if I am not mistaken to say.
Or in the Easter Monday clash, Hull made an error for Matty Ashton's first try, and then the second try Toby King set up.
No, my mistake. I believe that to be Josh Fulis. With one of the try assists, and Stefan Ratchford, with the other. But yeah, very competitive match, locked at 12 apiece going into half time, and really, that's what you want to see.
They were hard to separate, really.
Oh, very hard to separate.
So an improved performance on Warrington on both sides, like on both games.
I think a bit disappointing, but I think Darryl Powell would have been happy that they didn't just lose this game outright or let this game slide late. Or well, if maybe they did concede late, but at least they were more competitive about it.
Yeah, that's true. Better than what they had been doing over the last few weeks, especially getting beat by Wakefield
twice in a row.
Yeah.
Now, this game against Huddersfield, how do we size them up here?
If Warrington continue on what they've been doing, then they should win. But in saying that, Huddersfield come off a draw and a loss to St Helens. So the draw being the most recent one. No, coming off St Helens being the most recent match.
Yep.
They are showing it's hard to get a read on it. It's hard to get a read on Huddersfield over what they've done over the last 2 weeks.
Well, we look at this at the moment. I mean, Warrington have been trying to break free of their run of red that they've had. They currently sit 8th on the table, after conceding that loss to Hull. Whereas Huddersfield, it would have been a bit patchy, 3 losses in the last 5 games, but with the draw to their name, sit 4th on the table. If Warrington win, if they can get superior for and against, they could really put some pressure on Hull FC at this point.
So, based on that, Huddersfield are the better side.
I feel like there would have been heartbreak that they couldn't beat St Helens, and I'm a bit concerned about how they're going to respond. I think if they get George Williams back in the ranks, and I think they've got that energy that can match Huddersfield very well, and at home, I got to mention that as well.
Yes.
I think they're a good chance. I think Warrington win this 1-6.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to say Huddersfield are going to win this one in the 1-6 margin. They just edged that little bit further forward than what Warrington have done.
All right. Well, split down the middle here, but that's the way democracy works. And not that Russian type democracy, am I right?
No.
Now, Hull KR play Wakefield Trinity, of course, the Robins, and as well as that narrow win over Toulouse in the south of France, 24-28. They had a dominant Good Friday win over the Black and Whites, downing them 16 points to 4.
Yeah, look, Hull KR in the whole derby was just all over Hull SC. Complete control from start to finish. And then against Toulouse, they got...
Well, we already covered the game against Toulouse.
Yeah,
it's the Good Friday clash we're covering now.
Yeah, but I was going to say they did get Toulouse a run for their money.
It was practically red all the way through for me. Hull KR, complete control, as you said. And really, Hull SC had no response for this game.
Not at all. The only try coming to Josh Reynolds.
And that was off his own volition as well.
Yeah.
Also, like Adam Reynolds a couple of weeks back against the Broncos, the playmaker to set up and score the try on his own. Now, contrast that with how the Robins behaved. Now, It was close, but the final 40 minutes was the deciding factor.
Yeah, the first half was really
Tight,
match.
as a whole derby is.
I watched the first half because of time differences. But it was a close match, and I was this is going to be an interesting match. But the second half showed otherwise.
It certainly did. The Robins took control in the second half. Their right edge really making the difference on this occasion. And Lachlan Coote, that was his best ever game he's played for Hull KR this year. I would say that's been the best he's played. 2 tries, 1 try assist, 214 running meters, 7 tackle breaks, 3 offloads, and 2 from 3 goals converted.
Yeah, best game for Coote. Like you said, scoring that 2 tries, then setting up 1
for Ryan Hall. Of course, it had to be Ryan Hall.
Yes. But okay, they being home as well would have seen the other side of Hull home in tears.
Yeah, definitely.
Hull was split down the middle in this match.
As it always is.
Yes.
Is when these two sides meet.
Yeah. I think it said it was Hull KR's first home derby in a while, actually.
I think since 2019.
Yeah, so it's been a little while since Hull KR have had a home in the derby, but hey, it paid off for them.
It certainly paid off for them. The first Good Friday fixture back at Craven Park in 3 years, of course, due to certain viruses we're not allowed to talk about. The spicy cough, I think everyone's really calling it now.
Yeah. But this matchup
against Wakefield, well, we already touched on how they went down to Castleford at 34 points to 4, and against Wigan they didn't perform better either.
They practically didn't turn up.
54 points to 10 they went down to the Wigan Warriors, and they made the worst mistake. They didn't tackle Jai Field.
No.
And worse than that, they let Bevan French loose as well.
Yeah, because French scored a try, Field got 2.
Jai Field was a standout in that game. 2 tries, 2 try assists, 200 running meters, and 3 tackle breaks. Complete dominance from the Wigan Warriors and really improving their points differential.
Yeah. Well, but you have to say, French and Field, I know it's been 2 games, but they're starting to have a nice little combo going on there.
Oh, they definitely are.
Like, I mean, Field set up French. They both got speed, and then Field also, like you said, got 2 tries. So, watch that combination get stronger and stronger.
I definitely think it will get
barring
stronger.
Injuries.
Barring injury, yeah. But I think we wouldn't want to see any more injuries for French because he already missed a whole lot of game time.
Yeah, no, you don't want any more. Or not even to Jai Field either. But if Field goes down, French is ready to rock and roll.
And the fact that they played this way, again without Tommy Lualai, with Harry Smith running around in the halves.
He got 9 from 9 goals in that match.
Very clean from young Harry Smith. And I got huge raps on him. I think he gets the number 7 jumper if and when Lualai hangs it up.
Yeah.
I think
it's pretty much
definitely
it's pretty much all but confirmed now.
Custon Smith in the halves moving forward for the Wigan Warriors.
That's the future right there. And it could be a strong combination.
Of course, Wakefield tried to stay in this game really, and they tried early in the first 10 minutes when Thomas Mins scored the opening try, but then they just let in 4 tries after that, and then another of a ton were piled on before Jacob Miller scored with 18 minutes to go. But by then, the scoreline had blown out to 48-4.
Yeah, really, the last try was a consolation try, really.
It was a heavy consolation in a heavy defeat, and I think Wakefield are cruising for more pain yet again. I think Hull KR win this 13+. I think the Robins' back 5 is very impressive, even though it's not the full complement, but that left edge. You've got Milnes, you've got Kenny Dow, the big red Kane Linnet, and Ryan Hall really moving up the try scorers charts fast.
He is moving up the charts very fast indeed.
Because I'm pretty sure he's now bagged a whole host of tries in the last few weeks. And if we bring up...
He has. I don't think he's far from the record. Or was that James Roby with appearances?
But tries, I think Ryan Hall is closing in on that, but he's got to still chase down his former teammate in Danny Maguire with 247 tries to his name.
Or did he beat that?
I don't think he has, not yet anyway. But yes, currently ranked 5th on the Betfred Super League try scorers charts, of course, behind Josh Charnley, Tommy Makinson, Jai Field, no surprises, and Ken Seo for Salford. And once more, that presents us with a brilliant segue to talk of Wigan v Salford in Channel 4, once again airing a Super League match free to air.
Yeah. Salford poor against Warrington.
And then they backed it up. They couldn't get up over the top of I wouldn't say weekend, but a understrength Catalan Dragons side.
Yeah.
The Dragons, on this occasion, running out 36 points to 10 winners.
Yeah. Horrible run for the Easter break for Salford right there. They're just gone back to how they were before they had the last win, which was, I can't remember.
Last win would have been about round 3, wouldn't it?
Something along those lines.
Yeah, I definitely think it would have been round 3.
Yeah, but not looking good for Salford, but yeah, Wigan were just too good.
They were too good in that game against Wakefield. And as for Salford, outplayed by the Catalan Dragons.
It was round 6 against Leeds, 26-12.
Yeah.
This was the last win for Salford.
Yeah, but Salford, they got cleaned up heavily by the Catalan and Dragons, despite, again, getting the opening try on the board. Ordfru, who believed to be Dion Cross.
Dion Cross
beautiful,
was the first one, yes.
Grubber kick set up for him to go through. It was just the Dragons' onslaught from that point. And really...
Until this second last try of the match went to CO.
Good news, though. Callum Watkins featured for the first time in 10 months after being ruled out long-term with injury. It was nice seeing him back.
It definitely was, and probably much needed for Salford, but unfortunately, they couldn't come away with a result for Watkins' returns, but he's only been back for first
game in 10 months.
Exactly, so you're not going to expect all bells and
whistles
straight away, no.
No, but I think for him to be back, I think that's what Salford needed with the rotating door in the back line between him, Sargentson, Joe Burgess, Cross, Williams. Laffey, yeah, that's another one on there. But outside of Ryan Briley getting both CO and Cross over the whitewash, it was a perfect performance from the Catalan Dragons. Once again, rising to the occasion, even when they're missing a host of key players. And I tell you what, Artur Morg, this is his second starting appearance this year alone, and already 87 run meters, 2 try assists, 6 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, and 6 from 7 goals converted.
Too good.
Way too good.
Way too good.
For the Catalan Dragons.
And Salford just couldn't handle it.
Oh, they couldn't.
Same against with Warrington. They couldn't handle how good Warrington were.
On the right side defensively, he of course couldn't hold out Fuad Yaha. And of course, Mathieu Laguerre taking his opportunity in the centres. There's of course Matt Whitley there. Mitchell Pearce, a double. Also, he's really
starting to come on.
Pearce is coming on. I definitely think he is. There's 15 runs, 75 running meters, 3 tackle breaks, 1 clean line break, 3 offloads, and of course the 2 tries he scored would really put Salford on the back foot. And I think with this game, Amir, I don't see any hope for the Red Devils, unfortunately. For them, I think the Wigan Warriors run home with this 13+.
Yeah, agree. Salford better just forfeit now and have a default. Wait, what's the default margin now? It's not 24-0 anymore. They upped it, didn't they?
48-0 if they can't fulfill the fixture.
Well, Wigan will probably get 48 anyway without being defaulted victors. But anyway, let's see what can happen. that Salford will play, obviously, but if they get some points on the board, it'll be better than a forfeit match, which they won't happen.
It won't happen. And I think we're beyond the peak where teams are struggling to name a 17-man and side week in, week out. We don't have to play games anymore, I think. But that's really how the whole world is largely at the moment, when we're not out screaming our heads off because politics. Now, finally, the final game to be played on Anzac Day
In Australia.
Eastern Standard Time. When we have checked the draw through the Our League app, if you are in Australia, because they have the times for that game, at 3:45 on Anzac Day, Hull FC to host the Catalan Dragons. Now, this game could go either way here.
Well, Hull FC just getting a narrow win over Warrington, like we mentioned, and losing heavily to Hull KR, while Catalans have had the victories. So, I don't know if you call it a close one, though.
It'd be interesting to see because they're not going to have Luke Gale again. And so another opportunity for Ben McNamara, father playing against son.
Yeah.
Under this
We've
game.
seen that happen before.
We definitely have, but I think Dad's still going to have a lot of the bragging rights here. I think this will be a competitive game, but if Catalan play the same way they did against Salford, it really move the ball, pinpoint, and cut out passes that find, especially down Catalan's left edge, if they still have that problem. But they're just resilient, the Catalan Dragons.
They are.
I mean, shaky start, narrow wins that they've had, as well as narrow losses, but they're still doing enough to be third on the table.
Yeah. Like I said, shaky start, and then had, Dudson out,
Tompkins missing.
Napa's been missing.
Bousquet, Desiree has been missing.
They've had a fair few, but they have stuck pretty solid and have come through with victories.
They'll be better. I think they're growing. I mean, they have grown very strong.
Especially
now.
Pierce.
And I think they'll kick on with this. I think the Catalan Dragons win this 7 points to 12.
Yeah. Pierce being a strong, coming on strong as well, which is good to see. I'm going to say Catalan's 13 plus.
Well, you think it's going to be that big a win?
If Hull FC, only just in a 13 plus margin. Not 30 or more, but probably just maybe 14, 15, 16. So just in the 13 plus margin.
All right, that's fair enough. And on that note, it is full time from us. If you liked this part or the NRL Week 7 debrief we did yesterday, make sure you leave a like, hit that subscribe button like Will Smith hitting Chris Rock so you never miss a week of rugby league action. Don't forget to click that bell for notifications. Hope you enjoy all the footy over the weekend on both sides of the world. And of course, don't forget to pay respects on Anzac Day. I think that's very important that we pay respect. Especially, I don't want to mention, I'll just say it in non-political terms. Given the current global events and the things that have happened, I think it's very important. On Anzac Day, enjoy your 2-up, enjoy your drinking, but just take a minute to remember, and I will say this, and I'm serious, to remember the freedom and the rights that we enjoy living in a country like this. I think to pay respect to the veterans that have fought and died for our rights and our freedom. I think that's probably the most important thing to acknowledge here. Now, hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for listening. Along with Mark Hendry, I'm Connor Marcellus, and you have been listening to the Sideline Chat podcast. We'll see you next Wednesday with more Rugby League.
Yep, see you later.